Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by TheLions.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we've got an eight-game slate to choose our player props from. That is what we've got for you in this video. Also have a couple other game videos for you tonight as well, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Also want you to head to thelines.com. As always, plenty of written content up there. Also some March Madness stuff going on the site as well right now. And our odds finder tool that you can use to make sure you're getting the best odds available to you on all these bets and player props you're making this NBA season. Nate, let's go ahead and jump right into your first NBA player prop to end our work week tonight.
The Warriors and Hawks have a 248-point total in Atlanta tonight, and both Trey and Steph are around 30 points in terms of their prop. I wouldn't be surprised if both go over, but I'm actually going with the big man, Clint Capela, just to get a double-double, plus 115 at DraftKings, maybe a little less at other books, but I think that's a good shot here. He's double-doubled in 3 of his last 4 at home, and the real concern in this matchup is, will he be played off the floor? And the Warriors with Draymond Green suspended and Wiggins out, I don't think they're that same kind of team that can play a center off the floor so easily with the Draymond at the 5 lineup. Kevin Looney is probable, so he should be in there, more traditional center, and Kuminga's going to start probably in place of Draymond. So we're looking at more of a traditional big lineup, and that's what Capela's gotten more minutes at when he's played those kind of big lineups. He's actually still managed to average 21.5 and 15.5 in his last 2 against the Warriors, and that includes one where they yanked Looney or Wiseman early and used Draymond at the 5 for most of that game. He actually had 24 and 18 in that game. So Warriors, as we know, horrendous defensively. On the road, they're on the front end of a back-to-back and go to Memphis tomorrow. So how much effort is there going to be down low, containing him on the boards? Maybe you just want boards here if you are scared about the lobs and the dunks, but I don't think Golden State's stopping anyone right now. Like I said, double-double in 3 of his last 4 at home, 11.5 points and boards there. And the Warriors are giving up the 4th most points to centers in their last 7 here, along with the 9th most rebounds over a larger sample, the last 15.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, too, because a lot of people are trying to figure out what's wrong with the Dubs, why it is that they're literally the Detroit Pistons on the road and the defending champs at home. Like, it's wild. Some people are annoying. They're just like, oh, the other team is shooting better. It's like, that's not... You can't do that over 40 games. It's not luck that. It's not like that. And the better explanation is other teams are shooting well from deep because they have to pack it in because they don't have the down low presences to get rebounds, especially against a guy like Clint Capela. Take away Draymond, they're going to be even worse tonight. There's going to be more opportunities for second chance points, offensive rebounds galore. So I think Capela's a great play, especially on the rebounds tonight. And he should be able to get some putbacks. And Trey should be able to find him, dunking over guys that can't jump with. Like Kevon Looney can't jump over a piece of plywood. I love him, but he can't. Draymond could barely do the same thing, but at least he's one of the best defensive players in the history of the game. But way better shot at defending Capela, and still don't really love his chances. So yeah, I think it's you definitely target him tonight against these Dubs in an absurd total of 248. So. I'm going Ant Edwards in a total that I don't think is going to go so high, but I still like Ant Edwards. It's one of those situations where they're playing the Bulls. The Bulls have been very good on defense. The total in this game is only 225, but we just saw this team score 104 points against, or not even fail to score 100 points against Philly. Dude still had 32 against the Dubs the other night. Another really poor showing on offense, but still had 28. So, I like his abilities tonight in his last 5. I'm sorry, I should be clear. 27.5 points I would take. I also would like the 5.5 rebounds if Rudy Gobert is not playing, who is questionable tonight. And I think that's a big part of it. But starting with the points, in his last 5, 30 a game, 7 boards and 6 assists. That's all in about 38 minutes, 49% from the field and 38 from deep, and then a 34% usage, which is what I'm really focused on here. In his last 5, it's been that way. Rudy's missed a couple games as well in that time. Naz Reid is also questionable. Austin Rivers is also questionable. I'm not really sure who's supposed to score tonight for them other than Ant. So I like that. Caruso is also questionable. I should throw that out there. That's just as important for us. But there's not going to be any head of the snake, if you will, to that defense for Chicago without him. And Chicago, as good as they've been, they're stopping a lot more big men than they are guards, right? Allowing the fifth most points per game to shooting guards. But when I say shooting guards, I really just mean who is the most ball dominant guard on the other team that's dribbling the most with the ball in their hands and then putting up shots. And with that 34% usage, it's coming from him. And then I'll just touch on the rebounds for a minute because he has been averaging better than 7 boards in the last 5. Like I mentioned, Rudy missed a few of those games. And without Rudy, he goes from 5.5 boards on the season to 7.5. That he's pulling down when Rudy's not around. So I think for him to get 6 tonight is a pretty good bet in a game. He could get 6 or 7 or 8. I know the Bulls are good at rebounding, but this is a guard rebounding, not quite the center position that they've been limiting the Bulls.
Well, I actually like a guard on the other side here. Patrick Beverley, his revenge. I mean, he had a couple shots when he was with the Lakers to get some on the Wolves, who discarded him for Gobert. After all he did for this franchise, all he did winning the play-in game and then standing up on the scorer's table, like, I brought you a playoff appearance. But he's only at 5.5 rebounds or 8.5 rebounds assists. And if Caruso, I think he's closer to like doubtful at this point. Without Caruso, I think he has a clear path to minutes, and he's a good peripheral stats guy in what should be a pretty ugly game. I think both Ant and Zach LaVine are in play here in terms of just being the guys that chuck for their teams and getting over even if this game goes under. But there's not a lot to like about a shootout potential here.
No.
And Rudy has been questionable for like 20 straight games, so I'm not going to read into that in terms of him missing this one. But yeah, I mean, he's seen that 34% usage rate, no problem taking the points there. I'm looking at the Pelicans here. Trey Murphy, who does not have a huge usage rate, but has been very efficient with his touches. 21 points per game in his last 6 in 37 minutes as he's been, stepping up without Zion, obviously showing no signs of coming back. Brandon Ingram missed a few of those games, and so the usage won't be huge here. But, I mean, we're talking about Houston, which has popped up and beat some teams, but is still awful defense, particularly on the wing, giving up the second most points to shooting guards and most threes to shooting guards in their last 30, second most threes to small forwards too, whatever position you want to put them at. And that's key here. I mean, he's shooting 49% from 3 in his last 6. He has huge minus odds to hit at least 3 threes. I'd rather just take 16 points for Murphy, which is something he's hit pretty consistently, in 7 straight road games in January. He hit at least 15 points. And then he's gotten 32 in his last 2 here against Golden State and Sac, and Golden State, a great defense at home. The first opportunity to play Houston with this real starter's workload, I guess that came in January. He played 29 minutes at 14 points. But the point is, the threes, if those are going to be there for him, or if Houston's going to scramble to close out, he is that classic guy who will just attack the closeout, get to the rim. And there's not a ton of rim protection for Houston. Certainly like it if Sengun plays in that case. So 15.5 points or 3.5 rebounds against the Houston team that is pretty bad offensively, of course, too. If you combine the two, the odds are worse, but I like either of those overs at just minus 105.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that scares you about Trey Murphy is BI playing, right? And even if he is playing tonight, I mean, I just kind of attack this prop with Austin Reeves a couple nights ago against this Rockets team, where I was like, there's going to be some points. This is where they give up points. The other thing, though, was that, AD was not playing in that game, and that was another reason that I attacked Austin Reeves in that one. If you look at Trey Murphy with and without Brandon Ingram, obviously it's going to be a lot different, right? 5 more points when Ingram does not play. So I'm personally just heed a bit of caution in the sense of Trey Murphy's a little bit streakier as a young guy, obviously, but he's capable of this number, and the Rockets are not anything on defense. So if you think the points are going to be coming in this game, they're also going to be coming from the guard position more so, I would say, than the big guys in this one. But let me finish off here with AD, my second pick after I took AE and Ant Edwards on the other one. 27.5 points for Anthony Davis tonight. I think that's where we really focus against this Dallas team that, they actually haven't been as bad against centers necessarily, but all they're weak down low. We know that they've been in the bottom 10 in terms of allowing points in the paint all season. And AD, with those points, the last time he played Dallas, which was just like 3 weeks ago, without LeBron again, 30 points, 15 boards in that one, and a plus 16 in those minutes. And that was that win that they got over Dallas on the 26th of February. So he's doing well against the West. I looked at his stats in the last 7. He's played 2 Eastern Conference teams there. Did not have a good game against Toronto, who he does not play well against, and did not have a good game against the Knicks, who are just stacked down low, and ended up winning that game on a random Sunday. But the other 5 against Western Conference teams who are also not good down low, including Dallas as a part of one of those 5 on the 26th of February. Like I said, 34 points a game, 14 boards. The board's scary because the Lakers are playing a little bit slower. It's still like top 10 fastest pace, but a little bit slower. And they're playing a Dallas team that, especially if they don't have Kyrie and or Luka, are going to be playing not only slower without Kyrie, but just worse on offense in general, which will just make it a little bit choppier and weirder. Maybe there's an opportunity for some more rebounds, but I just don't like the amount of possessions that are likely to occur in this game to get us to 14 boards for him, whereas him to be the focal point of the offense, getting points down low where the Mavs are super weak, I think is another good opportunity for him to get 30 plus tonight like he did last time against them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he sat out against Houston for this express purpose. 2 days rest. This is the spot to take AD. Is just like he's the guy the Lakers are going to deploy when they're like they break glass. I mean, obviously they're leaning on him completely, but they're looking at the schedule, which is very, very easy for them the rest of the way, by the way, and saying these are the games we need. And there's definitely an internal discussion that like, when we need a game, we need AD to score 30 points right now. Yep. So I think, even an alternate line at 30 plus and a win for the Lakers. You worried about this game going under if Dallas doesn't have their guys? And I think, AD could still have 30 in a 110 game, which is exactly what he did last time out against Dallas. So definitely take this at minus 105.
Yeah, Ant and AD are both 2 guys that like, that's it. They're the offense right now. So, I mean, look, Malik Beasley, if he gets hot, total respect. Rui's good for a knockdown every now and again, but it's not like they're going to be coming and they're not going through any of those guys too consistently, nearly as much as AD with that usage. So I think that the points are a good bet on this one. And that is all the time we have for you in this one. So make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us. We are coming back to you on Monday with a couple more videos for you. So until we see you next, happy betting.